Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Troy Capra. I'm the director of this show, and the show is It's a Wonderful Life. Sponsored by Constellation Energy. Sounds like a commercial. And I would do it, but never mind. Just so you know, we got a couple things just to go over real quick. One of them, no flash photography. It will spook the actors and actresses on stage. And yes, it does really happen. So no flash photography. Oswego Players have been an organization providing entertainment for the community for next year, our 75th year. 75 years. I don't look that old. I'm not. 75 years next year. So we really hope that next year you guys come and support all the shows that we have going on next year. Not to brag, I sort of start off the year, I'm ending the year, I start off the year with Dial In for Murder. So be looking out for that. It'll be in February. We also want to thank all the city has done so much tremendous work outside of our building. It looks fantastic. And there's still more to go. We've got a lot more to do. So please keep supporting us. There will be a 50-50 to help with any of the stuff inside the building that we want to do, take care of, whatever the case may be. Probably one of the most important things I really have to make sure we get out, fire exits on both sides of the building in the front and behind the stage. If you really don't know where to go, follow me. I will be the first one out. I won't stop for you.
I'll be right
Just so you know, okay? The other thing that I got to make sure everybody knows, cell phones. Please turn off your cell phone, okay? I don't mind listening to a White Christmas as a ringtone, but not in the middle of It's a Wonderful Life, okay? Sort of conflicting shows, if you ask me. So please turn your cell phone off. You have that opportunity while I'm ad-libbing and running on stage right now, okay? Because I know some people are going to turn them off. You're going to hear the little tones. I don't mind pictures. Like I said, no flash photography. These guys did a fantastic job. This is an adaptation from the movie. If you guys went to see the movie at the movie theaters today, it's an adaptation, which means some of the things you see on stage, some of the movie, they can't put on stage. So, but these guys, I'm so proud of them. They did a fantastic job. And on a personal note, one of our cast members is having a birthday, so maybe later on we might have to sing happy birthday to her. I'm not going to tell you who just at the moment. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it's a wonderful life.
I wouldn't do it if I were you.
Wouldn't do what?
What you were thinking of doing.
You know what I was thinking.
Oh, we make it our business to know lots of things.
Whatever you're selling, I'm not interested. Just leave me alone.
Oh, no, you don't understand. I've got a job to do here.
I said leave me alone.
Well, this isn't going well. But you said this was going to be easy. But he won't listen. I know. If at first you don't succeed, blah, blah, blah. Did you ever read Tom Sawyer?
What?
Now there was an industrious young man, and when the chips were down, he never gave up. Do you remember why?
Who cares?
He kept thinking about others, George, not about himself, but about all the folks who needed him.
Hey, wait a minute. You just called me George. How do you know my name?
Oh, I know all about you. I watched you grow up from a little boy.
How could you? I've never seen you before.
You haven't needed till now. How's the lip? Oh, looks like it stopped bleeding.
Yeah, well, it was an answer to a prayer I got a bit ago.
No, George. I'm the answer to your prayer.
Who are you?
Clarence Oddbody, AS2.
Oddbody. AS2? Well, what's that, AS2?
Angel, second class.
Now I know I've lost my mind.
Not yet, but you were well on your way. That's why they sent me down here. And besides, it's ridiculous to think about killing yourself over a measly $8,000.
And now how did you know that?
I told you, George. I'm your guardian angel. I know everything about you.
Well, you look like the kind of guardian angel I'd get. I'll give you that. Kind of a fallen angel, wouldn't you say? Where are your wings?
Well, I haven't won my wings yet.
yeah.
That's why I'm an angel, second class. But you're going to change all of that
I am. How?
by letting me help you.
Well, the only way you can help me is if you can come up with $8,000 before the stroke of midnight. After that, my life turns into a pumpkin.
Sorry, but we don't use money in heaven.
Oh, yeah, I keep forgetting. Well, you know what? Down here, you can't live without it. You have to... And if the truth be known, I'm better off, worth more dead than alive.
Now listen, you mustn't talk like that. I'll never get my wings with that attitude. And besides, I don't think you realize how much you are worth. Why, if it hadn't been for you...
You know, if it hadn't been for me, a whole lot of people I know would be a lot better off. Everybody. My wife, my kids, even all my friends.
Well, you've certainly got plenty of friends. I'll say that for you. Why, do you know they've jammed up our airways for over an hour now?
What are you talking about?
Prayers. When they're heartfelt, they're mighty powerful missiles. And the ones for you, why, they've lit up our whole celestial system.
Why?
Because you're such an important influence in so many lives, George. Always have been. Oh, just like Tom Sawyer.
Since when?
Ever since the day you saved your little brother from drowning when he fell through the ice.
Wait a minute, that was instinct. Besides, I was 12 years old.
There were other boys there that day. Some of them older and better swimmers. They didn't nod to their instinct. Only you did.
Yeah, but he was my brother.
I know. Oh, but what about the time you saved Mr. Gower from ruin? That was instinct. That was courage. Deep-seated, wrench-full of guts courage.
Yeah, but he had just received a telegram telling him his only son had died.
And he had turned mean through and through from trying to drown his sorrows in a bottle. Remember?
George? Are you out there? Sorry, Mrs. Blaine, that medicine should have been there an hour ago. I promise, it'll be over in 5 minutes. Where's Mrs. Blaine's box of capsules? Why didn't you deliver them?
I couldn't.
What do you mean you couldn't? What kind of tricks are you playing, young man? Don't you know the Blaine boy's very sick?
You're hurting my sore ear, Mr. Gower.
You lazy loafer!
Mr. Gower, you don't know what you're doing. You put something wrong in those capsules. I'm sure you did.
What are you talking about?
I know you're unhappy. You got that telegram today and it upset you. I understand that. But you put something wrong in those capsules. I'm sure you did.
How do you mean?
Just look and see for yourself. I tried to tell you when you were filling the order, but you wouldn't listen. Just look at the bottle you took the powder from. It's not right. I swear it isn't.
Oh no. No. No.
Don't hurt my sore ear again. I won't ever tell anyone, Mr. Gower. I promise. I know what you're feeling. I won't ever tell a soul. Hope to die, I won't.
Oh, George.
And you never did. Not to this day. Now that's remarkable.
Oh, he's always so good to us kids. You know, he gave most of us our first job.
Well, he never stopped caring about you, that's for sure. Oh, remember that handsome suitcase he bought you when you thought you were finally headed off to college?
Oh, that was 1,000 years ago.
Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains, and the mountains in reply echo back their joyous strains. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo.
For he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, which nobody can deny. Yay!
May you always use it in good health, George.
Oh, how can I thank you, Mr. Gower?
Well, by graduating with honors. Yes. That would make us all very proud.
Fat chance.
Oh, yeah, lay you a bed, little brother.
Haven't got the time. I'm off to my dance. How do I look?
Oh, like a goon in a penguin suit. Where's the funeral?
That's enough, you two. You look very nice, Harry.
Well, of course he does. It's my tux.
And how do you think I look, Angela? Good enough, teens.
If you lay a hand on me, I'm going to hit you.
But Aunt Tilly, I'm in love with you, and the moon is full tonight.
Harry, that's enough.
Hey, Mom, gotta borrow the car. I gotta look over plates and stuff.
Whose plates?
Didn't I tell you? I'm chairman of the Eats Committee. I'm short about a couple dozen plates.
Now wait a minute, Harry. You can't use my Sunday china. It was your grandmother's and her mother's before that. Are you listening to me?
We are all going to miss you, George.
Oh, thank you, Violet.
Say, that's sure some dress you got on there.
This old thing, it's just a hand-me-down like Harry's.
Oh, well, it sure is pretty, isn't it, George?
What? Oh, the dress? Yeah, real nice.
Well, I guess I should be going. The dance starts in another half an hour. Why don't you drop by later on?
Just might do that.
I hope you do. Goodbye now.
Would you like Ernie and I walk you over to the school?
That won't be necessary. Take care, George.
We'll see you, Vi. Come on, Ernie.
See you around, George.
See you guys.
Say, Uncle Billy, where's Pop?
Oh, he had to finish up a special report from Potter. The board meeting's tomorrow.
Well, I thought when Pop put him on the board of directors, he'd ease up on us. I mean, well, what's eating that money-grabbing buzzard anyway?
He's a sick man, George. Sick in his heart, sick in his soul, if he has one. He hates everyone who has anything that he can't have. Hates us mostly, I'm afraid.
That's for sure. After you graduate, you wouldn't consider coming back to the building alone with us, would you, George?
Oh, not me, Uncle Billy. I couldn't stand the thought of being cooped up in a shabby little office the rest of my life. No, I'm sorry, but the thought of spending the rest of my life trying to figure out how to save 3 cents on a length of pipe, I'd go crazy. I want to do something big, something important.
Well, you know, George, your dad and I feel that in a small way we are doing something important. It's deep in the soul of a man to want to own his own roof and walls and a fireplace to sit beside him on an evening, and we're helping him get those things.
But you have to admit, Bill, this town is no place for a man who won't bow to powder. Now, George, you have talent. We've all seen it. Now, you go and get yourself an education, and then get out of here if you must.
Any idea what you want to do, George?
Oh, sure. Well, I want to build things. I mean, skyscrapers, maybe even plan cities. You know, it's been a dream of mine all my life.
Still after that first million before you're 30, eh?
Well, I'll settle for half of that in cash.
Well, your Aunt Tilly and I are sure going to miss you.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm going to miss you too, that's for certain. Hey, would you mind bringing this into the house? I think I'm going to walk over to the high school and drop in on Harry's dance.
Sure.
Have a good time, dear.
Have a great time, George.
And you did, too. Remember, that was the night you met Mary Hatch. Of course, you've known Mary all your life. She grew up 3 or 4 years right behind you and was always there, somewhere in the background, tagging along, until one of you boys noticed her and sent her on her way. But that never discouraged her. Not her or any of the girls. They all had their eyes hooked on you, especially Violet and Mary. You just never took the bait until the night of Harry's graduation party. That was the night you danced the Charleston all night with Mary Hatch, until someone tripped the lock on the moving gym floor and everyone fell or jumped into the swimming pool.
Buffalo gals, can't you come out tonight? Can't you come out tonight? Can't you come out tonight? Buffalo gals, can't you come out tonight? And dance by the light of the moon.
Dog, that's just like the church choir.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, you should have seen the commotion in that locker room when I got the things we're wearing here. You know, I had to knock down 3 guys just to get these things. I got half your class jumped in that pool tonight.
Oh, half the town said it wasn't a good idea to build the gym floor over a swimming pool. Oh, I wonder who turned the key.
Oh, no, probably somebody jealous because you chose me to dance with you.
You think maybe?
Well, maybe. Hey, well, let me hold that old wet dress of yours. Oh. Hello.
Hello. Well, you look at me as if you don't know me.
Well, I don't know you.
Well, you pass me on the street almost every day.
Me?
Uh-huh.
No, that's a little girl named Mary Hatch. That's not you.
Oh, do I look as silly as you do?
Well, you know, I guess I'm not quite the football type, but you, well, you look wonderful. In fact, if it wasn't me talking, I'd say you were the prettiest girl in town.
Why don't you say it?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I will. Say, how old are you anyway?
Well, you can't ask that.
Well, I am.
18.
18? It was just last year you were 17.
Well, too young or too old.
Oh, no, just right. I mean, your age suits you, yes, sir. You look a little older without any clothes on. I mean, without a dress on, you look older. I mean, you just look a little... Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, sir, my train, please.
Pox upon me for a clumsy lout. Your caboose, my lady.
You may kiss my hand.
Hey, Mary.
As I was lumbering down the street.
All right,
down the street.
I'll just throw a rock at the old Granville house up there.
Oh, no, don't. I love that old house.
Oh, no, you don't understand. You make a wish and you break some glass. You got to be a pretty good shot nowadays with all those windows knocked out.
Oh, no, don't, George. Oh, it's full of a romance, that old place. Oh, I'd like to live there.
In that old house?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I wouldn't live in there if I were a ghost. Now look, right up there on the 2nd floor.
What'd you wish, George?
Oh, not just one wish. A whole hatful, Mary. I know what I'm going to do tomorrow, and the next day, and the next year, and the year after that. I'm shaking the dust of this crummy little town off my feet, and I'm going to go see the world. Italy, and Greece, and the Parthenon, the Colosseum, and then I'll come back to college, and I'll figure out what they know. But then I'm going to go out, and I'm going to build things. Airfields, and skyscrapers 100 stories high, and bridges a mile long. And I think I'm... Hey, you going to throw a rock? Hey, pretty good. Oh, what'd you wish for?
Buffalo gals, can't you come out tonight? Can't you come out tonight? Can't you come out tonight? Buffalo gals, can't you come out tonight?
And dance by the light of the moon. What did you wish for when you threw that rock?
Oh, no.
Oh, come on, tell me.
Well, if I told you, it might not come true.
Oh, what is it you want, Mary? Hey, you want the moon? Just say the word, and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down for you. Yeah, that's a pretty good idea. I'll give you the moon, Mary.
Oh, I'll take it. And then what?
Well, then you swallow it, and it would all dissolve, you see, and the moonbeams would shoot out of your fingers and your toes and the ends of your hair. Am I talking too much?
Yes, you are.
What's that?
Why don't you just kiss her instead of talking?
Say what?
You know, it's wasted on the wrong people, Ernie.
You're telling me.
Just wasted.
Hey, Bert, Ernie, come on back here. I'll show you some kissing that'll turn your head around.
George, come on home quick. Your father's had a stroke.
Pop? Oh, Mary, I'm sorry. I've got to go.
George, come on, let's hurry.
Did you send for the doctor?
Yes, Campbell's there now.
That saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see.
Mr. Potter, thank you for stopping by.
Well, I'd say your father was the building and loan here in Bedford Falls, George.
I'd agree, sir.
Of course, he was no businessman. That's what killed him. Oh, I don't mean any disrespect. God rest his soul. He was a man of high ideals. So-called. Well, ideals without common sense can ruin this town. So at our next Board of Trustees meeting, I'm going to make a motion.
A motion?
That's right. A motion to dissolve this institution and turn its assets and liabilities over to receivership.
What? But Mr. Potter, I don't understand.
Well, take this loan application that the board's to act on this morning. To Ernie Bishop. You know, that fellow that walks around town all over the place, delivering our mail. Usually late because he's got to stop by and talk to everyone on his route. Well, I happen to know the bank turned down his loan application. But he came to the building and loan, and we're willing to build him a house worth $5,000. Why?
Well, I handled that one, Mr. Potter. You got all his paperwork there, his salary, Insurance? I can personally vouch for his character.
Oh, he's a friend of yours.
That's right, sir.
So if you shoot pool with the manager's son, you can borrow money. What does that get the building and loan but a lazy, discontented rabble instead of a thrifty working class? All because of a few starry-eyed dreamers, like your father, stir them up and fill their head with a lot of impossible ideas.
Now, wait a minute. Hold on, Mr. Potter. Well, my father was no businessman, I know that. I mean, why he ever started this cheap penny-ante building and loan, I'll never know. But neither you nor anybody else can say anything about his character, because his whole life was... Why, in the 25 years that he and Uncle Billy started this institution, he never thought of himself or saved any money. But he did manage to get a few people out of your slums, Mr. Potter. What's so wrong with that? Yeah, just remember this rabble you're talking about, well, they do most of the working and the paying and the living and dying in this community. Was it too much to ask them to work and pay and live and die in a couple of decent rooms and a bath? Well, anyway, my father didn't think so. People were human beings to him, but to you, a warped, frustrated old man, they're nothing but cattle. Well, in my book, my father died a much richer man than you'll ever be.
I'm not interested in your book, young man. I'm talking about the building and loan.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about something that you can't get your fingers on, and it's galling you. That's what you're talking about. Well, I've said enough. Thank you for stopping by. I'll see you at the meeting.
But you're not on the board.
Oh, but I hold my father's proxy, and I can cast a vote. You see the way I look at it, Mr. Potter, the people of this community need our little one-horse institution, if for no other reason to have a place to go where they don't have to keep crawling to you.
Sentimental hogwash. Get me out of here. I'm still gonna make a motion at that meeting. We'll see who's got the power in this town.
But you spoke eloquently at the board meeting that day, George, and they voted Potter down. Remember?
Oh, yeah. On one condition I hadn't banked on.
That you take over your father's place. And you did. And you turned over all your school money to your brother Harry and sent him to college.
Harry became all-American.
And you got 4 years older.
That's for nothing.
Hello, Mother.
What are you doing? Wishing on the moon?
No, I gave up on that a long time ago. I'm just out here getting some air.
Did you know that Mary Hatch is back from school?
Hmm?
Came back 3 days ago.
Mhm.
Nice girl, Mary.
Mm-hmm.
Kinda help you find the answers, George.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give me one good reason why you shouldn't call on Mary?
Sure, Sam Wainwright. Yeah, Sam's crazy about Mary.
Well, she's not crazy about him.
Well, how do you know that? Would you discuss it with her?
No.
Well, how do you know that?
Well, I've got eyes, haven't I? Why, she lights up like a firefly when you're around.
No.
And besides, Sam Wainwright's away in New York, and you're here in Bedford Falls.
Oh, and so all is fair in love and war? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I don't know about war.
Oh, Mother. You know I can see right through you, right through to the back of your collar button. You're trying to get rid of me, aren't you?
Uh-huh.
Well, here's your hat. What's your hurry? All right. Mother, old building and loan pal of mine, if you insist, I'll go out and find a girl and do a little passionate necking.
George!
Now, if you'll point me in the right direction. This direction? This direction. Good night, Mrs. Bailey.
Hello, Georgie Gorgie.
Hello, Vi. How's business at the old-fashioned permanent wave shop?
Not a tidal wave yet, but I'm getting some city mothers in, thanks to you.
Yeah.
What gives with you?
Yeah, nothing.
Where are you going?
No, I don't know. I'll probably end up down at the library again.
Georgie, don't you ever get tired of just reading about things?
Yes. Yes, I do. What are you doing tonight?
Not a thing.
Are you game, Vi? Let's make a night of it.
Oh, Georgie, I'd love it. What do we do?
Well, we can run out into the fields, we'll take off our shoes, and we'll run through the grass.
Huh?
And then we'll climb to the top of Mount Bedford, up to the falls, and we'll smell the pines, and we'll watch the sunrise against the peaks. We'll stay up there the whole night, everybody in town will be talking, and it'll be a terrific
Georgie,
scandal.
Walk in the grass in my bare feet? Have you gone crazy? And Mount Bedford, that's got to be a 10-mile hike at least. I mean, who would want to climb Mount Bedford?
Yeah, you know what? Forget about it. It was just a crazy idea to begin with.
You're telling me. Good night, George.
Oh, hello, Mary. Just happened to be walking by.
Ah, so I noticed. Have you made up your mind?
How's that?
Have you made up your mind?
About what?
Paying a visit. Well, your mother phoned and said you were on your way by.
My mother called you? How did she know I was coming over here?
Well, didn't you tell her?
No. I just went out for a walk, and I happened to be passing by.
Well, do you want to come up on the porch for a minute?
Well, maybe for a minute, but yeah, I didn't tell anybody I was coming over here. So, well, when did you get back?
Tuesday.
Where'd you get that dress?
Do you like it?
That's okay. No, I thought you'd go back to New York with Sam and Angie and the rest of them.
Oh, I worked a couple of vacations, but I don't know. I guess I was homesick.
Homesick? For Bedford Falls?
Oh, yes. My family and everything. Well, aren't you going to come up on the porch?
Well, maybe for a minute, but I didn't tell anybody I was coming over here.
Would you rather leave?
Well, no. I mean, I wouldn't want to be rude.
Well, then come on up. Buffalo gals, can't you come out tonight? Can't you come out tonight? Can't you come out tonight? Buffalo gals, can't you come out tonight? And dance by the light of the moon.
Mary? Mary, who's down there with you?
It's George Bailey, Mother.
George Bailey? What does he want?
Well, I don't know. What do you want?
Me? Not a thing.
He's making violent love to me, Mother.
Will you send him home right now? And don't you go anywhere either. Sam Wainwright promised to call you tonight from New York. There he is now. Goodbye, George.
I ought to get going.
Oh, no, wait a minute.
Mary, pick up the phone.
Oh. Hello? Oh, hi, Sam. Oh, well, how are you? Uh-huh. Oh, well, guess who's here? Oh, your old friend, George Bailey. Oh, George, Sam wants to talk to you.
No, me?
Well, hurry up, it's long distance.
Hello, Sam?
Yeehaw. Well, George Baileyovsky. Say a fine pal you are. What are you trying to do, steal my girl?
No, nobody's trying to steal your girl. Here's Mary.
No, wait. I want to talk to both of you. Tell Mary to get on the extension.
He wants you to get on the extension.
Oh, Mother's on the extension.
No, I'm not.
Here. And now we can both hear. We're listening, Sam.
I've got a big deal coming up. It's going to make us all rich. George, you remember that night at Martini's bar where you told me you had read someplace about making plastics out of soybeans?
Huh? Plastics, yeah. Soybeans? Sure, yeah.
Well, Dad snatched up the idea. He's building a factory outside of Rochester. Here's the point. Mary, you're in on this too. George, have you got any money? around building alone. This is the biggest thing since radio, and I'm letting you in on the ground floor. Mary? Oh, Mary.
I'm listening.
Would you tell that guy I'm giving him the chance for a lifetime? The chance for a lifetime, you hear?
He says it's the chance of a lifetime.
Listen to me. Listen. I don't want any plastics. I don't want any ground floors. I don't want to get married ever to anyone. Do you understand that? I just want to do what I want to do, and you. Oh, Mary.
Oh, George.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to join this couple in holy matrimony. Do you, George Bailey, take Mary Hatch to be your lawfully wedded wife, to have and to hold from this day forward until death do you part?
I do.
Do you, Mary Hatch, take George Bailey to be your lawfully wedded husband, to have and to hold from this day forward until death do you part?
I do.
Then, by the powers vested in me by the state of New York, I now pronounce you man and wife.
The oldest champagne, the richest caviar, the hottest music, and the prettiest wife.
And then what?
Well, then what? Then what, honey?
Well, after that, who cares?
That's right, who cares? Come here.
George, I hate to break anything up, folks, but there's something funny going on down at the break. Down at the bank. I've never seen one before, but it has all the earmarks of a run.
Oh, my
If you got any money in the bank, folks, you better hurry.
Mary, you wait right here. I'll be back in a minute.
Please, let's not stop, George. Please, let's go.
I'll be back in a minute, darling. I promise. Uncle Billy? What's the meaning of this? A holiday?
It's what I call a pickle, George, a real pickle.
All right, now what happened? How did it start?
How does anything like this ever start? All I know is the bank called our loan.
When?
About an hour ago. I had to hand over all our cash.
All of it?
Every last cent. It was still less than we owe.
Holy mackerel.
The whole town's gone crazy.
Mr. Potter, to what do we owe this unexpected visit?
George, there's a rumor around town that you're going to close your doors early. Is that true?
No, not for another 10 minutes. That's our normal closing time.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. George, are you all right? You want me to call the sheriff?
The sheriff? For what?
Well, mobs do get pretty ugly sometimes, you know?
I can assure you, all our customers are very polite.
I'm sure. George, I'm going to go all out to help in this crisis. I've just guaranteed the bank sufficient funds to meet their needs. They'll close their doors for a week and then reopen.
You just took over the bank?
I might lose a fortune, but I'm willing to guarantee your people too. Just bring your shares over to the bank. I'll pay you 50 cents on the dollar.
Now that won't be necessary, Mr. Potter. We'll take care of our customers right
don't close your doors before 6 p.m. or you'll never reopen. Ladies, gentlemen, remember, 50 cents on the dollar.
Well, you never miss a trick, do you, Potter? Well, you're gonna miss this one. All right, now folks, let's not panic. You heard Mr. Potter. The bank's gonna reopen in a week.
But my money's here, George, and I'll take it now.
Oh no, Miss Andrews, you're thinking of this place all wrong. As if I had the money back in the safe. Well, the money's not here. Then the money's in the house next to yours, in the Grange's house, and the Kennedy's house, and Mrs. McLean's, and 100 others. I mean, you're providing them the money so that they can build, and then they're going to repay you as best they can. What are you going to do? Foreclose on them?
Listen, I have $242 in here, George Bailey, and $242 isn't going to break anybody.
All right, Miss Andrews. Here, you take this, you sign this, you'll get your money in 60 days.
60 days?
Well, that's what you agreed to when you purchased your shares. Now, stick to your original agreement, Miss Andrews. Give us 60 days on this.
No. Are you going to Potter's? Better to half than nothing.
Oh, Mrs. Thompson, Miss Andrews, please don't do this, I beg of you. Listen, if Potter gets a hold of this institution, there'll never be another decent house built in this community. I mean, he's already got charge of the banks, he's got the bus lines and the department stores, and now he's after us. Why? Because we're cutting in on his business, that's why. And because he'd rather have you live in his slums and pay the rent he decides you should pay. Listen, we can't let him do that. Folks, we can get through this, but we've got to stick together. We've got to have faith in each other.
But George, my husband's been out of work for over a year, and I need money.
I need money too, George.
How much do you need?
Hey, that's right. Listen, I got $2,000 here. $2,000. This will tide us over till the bank reopens. Now, Miss Andrews, how much?
$242.
Oh no, Miss Andrews, just till the bank reopens, how much to tide you over?
I'll take $242.
Here you are.
This will close my account.
And now your account is still open. That's a loan. Ernie.
I need money too, George.
How much?
I have $300.
Now, Ernie, come on. Just to get you through till the bank reopens, how much do you need?
Well, I suppose $20.
$20. Now there you're talking. Okay. Mrs. Thompson?
But George, it's your money.
Now don't worry about that, Miss Thompson. How much do you need?
Well, I suppose $20 will do.
$20. There you're talking now. There you go.
And I'll even sign a paper.
No, you don't have to sign a thing. I know you're good for it. Now, Miss Martini.
I see. Couldn't we have the 17 to 50?
17? Of course! I've got you! Yes, you can have 17. You got the 50 cents?
Sure.
Can you take over here?
You bet. I think we're gonna make it, George. I think we're gonna make it.
Oh, I think so too. Hello, Mrs. Bailey.
Hello, Mr. Bailey. How's business?
Business? Oh, business is booming.
Well, at least you have a place to come home to. Most of the windows are broken out, and the roof leaks in a place or two. Oh, but the structure is sound, and well, there's not a crack in the foundation.
What are you talking about?
32 Sycamore.
32 Sycamore? But that's the old...
You remember the night we broke out all the windows? Well, that's what I wished for. And I've been saving ever since. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary? We've only been married an hour.
1 hour, 29 minutes, and 40-some-odd seconds to be exact. Well, soon enough to celebrate, I would say, wouldn't you?
You know what I say? I say you're wonderful, darling.
4, 5, 6. Bingo! We made it!
Oh, hey! Pop open that champagne!
Look, George! We're still in business. We got $2 left.
Well, I'd say we're a couple of financial wizards.
Those Rockefellers.
Hey, Antilli, crack open that safe for these 2 great, big, important Somalians.
We'll save them for seed.
Now, and here's to Mama Dollar and Papa Dollar. If you're going to keep this building and loan in business, you better have a family real soon.
Rabbits.
Rabbits, that's a good one, Antilli. Did you hear that,
That's
Uncle Billy?
good.
Well, hey, here's to rabbits.
Rabbits.
Bread, that this house may never know hunger. Salt, that life may always have flavor.
And wine, so that joy and prosperity may reign forever. Enter the Martini Castle.
Oh, look! Oh, bello, Marcello. Come, everybody, we make it nice for me.
You can't dismiss this Bailey Park anymore, Mr. Potter. It's cutting deeper and deeper into your rental profits.
Bailey family's been a boil on my neck long enough.
Mr. Bailey has just arrived, sir.
Good. Tell him to wait.
Yes, sir.
Go on.
As you know, he's built a whole subdivision out next to the cemetery. Dozens and dozens of the prettiest homes you ever saw. I'm thinking seriously of purchasing one myself.
Don't you dare.
The point is, Mr. Potter, 90% of the residents used to pay rent to you. Now, if I were you, Mr. Potter...
Well, you are not me.
As I say, I'm just a lowly bank examiner. But if you're not careful, one of these days...
I'm a busy man, Miss Carter. I don't have time for idle conjecture. Good day. Cut into my revenue, will you? Well, I'll show you a trick or two, Mr. Bailey.
Yes, sir.
Send Bailey in.
Right away, sir. Mr. Bailey, Mr. Potter will see you now.
Thank you.
Good morning, George. So good to see you again.
Mr. Potter, this is quite an unusual request.
What's that?
Oh, are you calling on me to pay you a visit?
Well, I don't know what's so unusual about it. Just thought the two of us should get better acquainted. Here. Have a cigar.
Well, thank you, sir. Well, this is quite a cigar.
You like it? I'll send you a box.
Well, I suppose I'll find out sooner or later, but just exactly what you want to speak to me about.
You know, that's just what I like so much about you. Look, bud. George, I'm an old man and most people hate me. But I don't like them either, so it makes it all even. You know as well as I do that I run practically everything in this town but the building and loan. You know also that for a number of years I've been trying to get control of it, or kill it. But I haven't been able to. You have been stopping me. In fact, you have beaten me, George. And as anyone in this county can tell you, that takes some doing. Take during the Depression, for instance. You and I were the only ones that kept our heads. You saved the building and loan, I saved all the rest.
Yeah, well, most people say you stole all the rest.
The envious ones say that, George, the suckers. Now, I have stated my side very frankly. Let's look at your side. A young man, 27, 28, married, making, say, 40 a week.
45.
45. Out of which, after supporting your wife and your mother, you're able to keep, say, 10 if you skim it. A child or two comes along, you won't even be able to keep the 10. Now, if this young man of 28 were a common, ordinary yokel, I'd say he was doing fine. But George Bailey is not a common, ordinary yokel. He's an intelligent, smart, ambitious young man who hates his job, who hates the building and loan almost as much as I do. A young man who's been dying to get out on his own ever since he was born. A young man, the smartest one in the crowd, mind you, who's got to sit by and watch his friends go places because he's trapped. Yes, sir, trapped into frittering your life away, playing nursemaid to a bunch of garlic ears. Now, do I paint a correct picture or do I exaggerate?
Well, what's your point, Mr. Potter?
My point is I want to hire you.
Hire me?
I want you to manage my affairs, run my properties. George, I'm willing to start you out at $20,000 a year.
$20,000 a year?
You wouldn't mind living in the nicest house in town? Buying your wife a lot of fine clothes? A couple of business trips to New York a year? Maybe even once in a while to Europe. You wouldn't mind that, would you, George?
Oh, would I? Wait a minute. You're not talking to somebody else in here, are you? You know me? You remember me? George Bailey?
George Bailey, whose ship has just come in. Provided he's got enough brains to climb aboard.
Holy mackerel. Well, what about the building and loan?
Oh, confound it, man. Are you afraid of success? I'm offering you a 3-year contract worth $20,000 a year. Is it a deal or isn't it?
Well, I know I ought to jump at this opportunity, Mr. Potter, but could you give me 24 hours to think this over?
Sure. You go on home and talk about it with your wife.
I'd like to do that, sir.
Well, in the meantime, I'll draw up the papers.
All right, sir.
Okay, George?
Okay, Mr. Potter. No, I don't need time to think this over. The answer is no, doggone it. You sit around here and you spin your little webs and you think the whole world revolves around you and your money. Well, it doesn't, Mr. Potter. Why, in the whole vast configuration of things, I'd say you are nothing more than a sturdy little spider. And that goes for you, too. And it goes for you, too. Potter.
Buffalo gals, can't you come out tonight? Can't you come out tonight? Can't you come out tonight?
Oh, Mary Hatch. Why did you ever agree to marry a guy like me?
Well, to keep from being an old maid, of course.
You could have married Sam Wainwright or anybody else in town.
Well, I didn't want to marry anybody else in town. I wanted my baby to look like you.
Yeah, I didn't even give you a honeymoon. Listen, I promised that You're what?
My baby.
Mary, are you on the nest?
What a manner of speaking, yes.
What is it, a boy or a girl?
You were on top of the world then, George Bailey. Couldn't have been happier.
But that was 10 years ago. We fought a war since then.
Yes, and your wife has given birth to not one, but 4 beautiful children. And your brother Harry has been awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. President decorates Harry Bailey.
That was the headline in this morning's newspaper.
That's right, George. This morning, the day before Christmas, right around 10 a.m. That's when it all started, wasn't it? You were out buying a Christmas wreath, and Uncle Billy, oh yes, Uncle Billy was on his way to the bank.
Extra, extra! Read all about it! Local boy with Congressional Medal of Honor, Harry Bailey, to be decorated by the president. Extra, extra! Read all about it!
Here, give me one of those. One of those Bailey boys again.
Well, good morning, Mr. Potter. Why, what's the news? Harry Bailey wins Congressional Medal. That couldn't be one of the Bailey boys, could it? You just can't keep those Baileys down now, can you, Mr. Potter?
Yeah, well, how does Slacker George feel about that?
Oh, jealous. You're right. He's very, very jealous. He only lost 3 buttons off his vest. Of course, Slacker George would have gotten 2 of those medals if he'd been allowed to go.
Yeah, a bad ear.
That's right. After all, Potter, some people like George had to stay home. Not every heel was in Germany and Japan.
Give me back my paper. Buy your own if you want to drool over it.
Oh, Mr. Potter. 'Tis the season to be jolly, even if your name is Henry F. Potter.
Hey, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Yeah, why not? Why not? Here, give me the bag. Hurry.
long distance, Washington. It's Harry.
Harry? Oh, well, what do you know?
Yeah, he reversed the charges. That's okay, isn't it?
Reverse the charges for a war hero? Of course. Harry! Oh, you 7 times a son of a gun. Congratulations. Oh, yeah. Well, how's Mother holding up? She did? Mother had lunch with the president's wife.
Oh, wait till I tell Bill. What did they have to eat?
Yeah, what'd they have to eat? Hey, Harry. Oh, you should see what they're cooking up for you. They are. The Navy's flying Mother home this afternoon.
In a plane?
Uncle Billy? Hold on. Has Uncle Billy arrived yet?
He's going to stop at the bank on the way.
No, he's not here yet. But listen, tell me all about it, Jerry. What?
That woman's here.
Whoa.
The bank examiner.
Bank? Oh. Hey, Harry, talk to Aunt Tilly for a minute, would you? All right. Oh, hello, Vi.
George, could I see you for a second?
Well, sure. Just step right here in my office. Be with you in a minute. Ms.
Carter, bank examiner.
Carter, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
We're all pretty excited around here. My brother was just awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. The president himself decorated him.
Yes, well, I guess they do those things. I trust you've had a good year.
A good year? Well, between you and me, Ms. Carter, we're broke.
Very funny.
Now listen, if you'll just go back here, we got everything.
Although, I shouldn't wonder when you okay reverse phone charges on personal long distance calls.
Sure.